Straight ahead on 12 News, a big weekend in the Northwest Metro for road construction. Plus, a form of marijuana that has locals very concerned.
It can have some pretty significant impacts on their physical well-being.
But first, musicians from the Northwest Metro react to the death of Prince.
That Minneapolis sound that Prince was so much a part of and so responsible for, it's just in our blood.
12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. It still hasn't quite sunk in yet for local musicians who grew up with and knew Prince.
The Minnesota music icon's influence is far-reaching. Reporter Sonia Goen spoke with two local people in the music industry impacted by Prince.
This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
To say Prince was a talented musician would be putting it mildly. He was a singer, a songwriter, and actor. He also played more than 20 different instruments.
And beyond that, it's just great music.
His influence can be seen and felt at Winterland Studios in New Hope.
We're lucky. We've got to work with a lot of big artists come through here.
Todd Fitzgerald is the owner of Winterland Studios.
I mean, his records were huge. Purple Rain, and I remember going to the movie when it came out and made a big impact on me, especially the songs.
Well-known drummer Bobby Z is a producer at Winterland.
Bobby Z is on-staff producer, and he was Prince's drummer for The Revolution. He's actually in the picture over here.
He's been a great person to have at the studio. Just his knowledge and experience. Really nice to have access to different musicians in Minneapolis, different people that have played with Prince in past years or people play with him now.
Singer-songwriter Tamatha Lene from Brooklyn Park was also influenced by Prince.
That Minneapolis sound that Prince was so much a part of and so responsible for, it's just in our blood.
Her song, God Love Music, is a reflection of Prince.
Totally inspired by Minneapolis sound, and when I was writing it, I was thinking of Prince.
Local artists say his music will continue to reign even though he's gone.
It never sounds old. That's just the mark of amazing music. And then also the influence of his music and his genius will live on through other artists like myself.
Now, Tamatha is also working on new music with drummer Michael Bland, who was part of Prince's new Power Generation group. Meanwhile, Prince's autopsy is complete, but it could take weeks before officials release the cause of his death. Prince was 57 years old. Alex and Shannon.
All right, thanks a lot, Sonia. A dangerous form of marijuana has authorities in the Northwest Metro concerned.
Police say the drug comes from states where laws on marijuana use have been loosened.
That is a concern of ours, and I know it is of the states, of other states as well, because again, we can't control it. We're trying to, but when it's legal in one place and then just transported at will into places where it's not legal, that's a problem.
Marijuana wax has high THC levels, the chemical largely responsible for the drug's effects. Marijuana wax also does not produce an odor, making it easy to hide and conceal. Authorities say it can be made to look like candy, suckers, or even Pop-Tarts.
We believe it is being targeted toward youth. Generally, the targets of our investigations involving the dealing of marijuana wax are the 20-year-olds, and we find them dealing primarily to school-age kids, high school, and the college level.
Marijuana wax can result in high blood pressure, nausea, and impaired concentration for prolonged periods of time.
If you are driving through Plymouth this weekend, pack some patience. A stretch of I-494 will be shut down all weekend. Starting at 10 o'clock Friday night tonight through Monday at 5 a.m., Interstate 494 will be closed in both directions from I-394 in Minnetonka to I-94 in Maple Grove. The closure comes so that crews can safely move all 494 traffic to the southbound lanes.
This summer, work begins to bring another key trail segment to the inner ring suburbs. The Three Rivers Park District will extend Bassett Creek Regional Trail from the corner of 36th and Boone Avenues in New Hope to 32nd Avenue near Highway 100 in Crystal. The 2.8-mile segment is expected to be finished next spring.
The trails themselves are sort of like linear parks, so It's fun being on the trails, and it's a great amenity to be able to connect to all the other parks that we have in our region.
This particular trail through New Hope and Crystal is part of an overall plan to connect French Regional Park in Plymouth all the way to Theodore Wirth Park.
It is not every day that you get a behind-the-scenes look inside a police department, but that is exactly what's happening Sunday in Brooklyn Park. The police department is opening up its newly remodeled North Precinct on 85th Avenue to the public. The police station addition ups the size of the building by 26,000 square feet, and the new space includes a property and evidence room and a garage for all the police vehicles. The open house runs Sunday from noon until 4, and there's a canine demonstration at 3 o'clock.
Robbinsdale artist and sculptor Bob Johnson passed away this week at the age of 93. One of Johnson's most famous sculptures was the cow's heads on the Ewald Brothers dairy sign. The design made the front of a national advertising magazine back in the 1950s and changed the brand of the local dairy. Johnson never stopped creating, though, as you can see from this story we did back in 2014.
High school artists from our area got a unique opportunity to grow and learn from some of the pros today.
Artists talk about getting into the zone with their work, and this is the kind of place where they can do that. They have a whole day to get involved in this activity, and they're probably getting as much art here today as they would in a couple weeks of school.
140 high school students from the Northwest Suburban Conference brought some of their artwork to the Minnetonka Center for the Arts and then worked alongside professional artists. Many of the students have never seen some of the processes that happen in a professional studio.
I've been introduced to a lot of different things, but this is way different because, I mean, I haven't even really seen my pieces ever get fired, so seeing it getting fired this way is wow, that's really weird and cool.
I've never been in a big studio like this. It's crazy to see all the different projects and stuff.
Students sculpted, created pewter projects, and drew comic book art, just to name a few of the activities. This is one of the few times that the Arts Center cancels classes and just hosts high school students. Coming up, a problem impacting care for the elderly.
We'll look at the caregiver shortage problem up next. And then later in sports, Hopkins rolls to wins in both boys and girls lacrosse.
But first, a chance for showers and storms over the weekend. Heavy rain is possible Saturday night into Sunday. Advocates say there is a shortage of caregivers for the elderly in Minnesota.
In fact, the head of a nonprofit agency that serves the Northwest Metro says it's the perfect storm just as baby boomers are set to retire in record numbers. Reporter Mike Johnson has more on that.
I'm with Deb Taylor, who is the CEO of Senior Community Services and the Reimagine Aging Institute, which is a nonprofit which advocates for older adults. And thanks, Deb, for being here. You've taken a look at the future of home care for older adults, and you're afraid that there could be a shortage. What did you see?
What we saw is that nationwide, baby boomers are turning 65 at the rate of 10,000 a day. Now think about that. Here in Minnesota, we're the land of 10,000 lakes. Think about adding 10,000 lakes every day. We'd be flooded. And the healthcare, long-term healthcare system is going to be flooded with our aging baby boomers.
What's that mean for people who are aging and want to stay at home?
What that means is that people need to start planning earlier and planning for that time when they retire, because the cost of retirement is a lot more than people expect it to be. For example, the cost of living in an assisted living here in the metro area is $46,000. The cost of living in a nursing home is $82,000 a year. Now think about that. That's not covered by Medicare, and it's coming out of a person's savings. And you know, a lot of baby boomers are not prepared for that.
Caregivers, though, would help people in their homes.
They would. Over 90% of the care here in Minnesota is provided by family caregivers. And for each 1% loss in family caregivers, it costs the state $30 million in public dollars.
Because family caregivers, that's care for free, basically.
It is care for free.
And you're caring for a loved one.
Absolutely.
But what's happening? Are those people not going to be around?
What's happening is the Generation X coming up behind the baby boomers are just smaller when it comes to the sheer numbers. And so there is a real concern for the shortage in both paid caregivers in the residential setting and in the informal, the family caregivers at home.
And a perfect storm, just at a time when we've got an exploding number of seniors.
It's the perfect storm coming together.
So what do we do about it in the last 30 seconds here?
What we do about that is partner with trusted local nonprofits that can help families navigate this stage of their life.
All right, thank you, Mike. For more information, you can check Senior Community Services website or give them a call. It's 952-541-1019. Coming up, Robbinsdale school students show off their creativity in art.
But first, Plymouth Ice Center hosts a benefit event for an injured hockey player. Eric Nelson has the details up next in sports. Welcome back. Eric Nelson is filling in sports today.
Yeah, into the bullpen.
Yes,
John, Jay, and
that's right.
Jason busy, so
You're
I thought
busy.
I'd come into a little sports. We'll see how it goes. The Wayzata hockey community is coming together this weekend to support a former Totino Grace player who was paralyzed during a junior hockey game in Illinois. It is called Skate with the Champions Sunday night in Plymouth at the Ice Center to raise money for Matt Olson, who was injured while playing for the Chicago Cougars. The state champion Wayzata High School team and the national champion Wayzata Junior Gold team will be on hand to skate and meet with the public. There will be food, raffles, and a giant card will be signed, presented to Olson. It's a way to support Matt and his family.
With the finish to the season for both our high school team as well as our junior gold program, I think the youth program was just thinking that might be a good way for us to support, Matt and his family, and that's kind of really how it started. And just basically we wanted to do something, and all those things happen, and it kind of caught like fire, and a lot of people were interested and excited to help. So that's kind of how it started. We're gonna have a lot of youth kids here. It's basically was started by our youth program, just kind of a big skate with the Trojans that they have during the season, but now it's the off season, and so just kids being out there with our guys and just rallying around the game and trying to earn some money for a really good cause.
The Matt Olson MO3 benefit is Sunday night from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at the Plymouth Ice Center. 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Olson family. Well, while the Wild are clinging to their playoff lives, there's some good hockey going on in Plymouth this weekend. Some of the country's top high school players are skating at the Plymouth Ice Center at the CCM NIT Tournament. Two Minnesota teams are involved, with Maple Grove's Jack Kelly and Sam Huff on the Minnesota HP 18 team. Wisconsin, Michigan, Massachusetts, and North Dakota teams are also competing. The tournament started Thursday afternoon and wraps up Sunday before the Matt Olson event. Well, the Hopkins girls lacrosse team lost to rival Minnetonka in the season opener earlier this week. The Royals look to get into the winning column, though, against Cooper. Ominous skies can't slow down Hopkins as they dominate this one. Sammy Gallinson zips into the middle, scores. It's 13-2 Royals. Alina Boyce slips the Cooper defender here and nets another goal for Hopkins. And Sadie Scardron will curl out from behind the cage and scores there, giving the Royals a 16-2 lead. Final was 17-3 Hopkins. Same teams in the boys match, and Hopkins dominates in this one as well. Nicholas goes to Leo Reuter for the quick shot and the goal. Cole Kinney Leonard spins away from the defender, sets up a Nick Culp goal here. That made it 5-0 Hopkins. In the second quarter, Hopkins on the fast break, Culp with a laser beam shot there for another goal. And then finally, Kamal Baker going to get loose up high and fire another hard shot for the Royals marker. Hopkins wins easily. 18-0 Royals is the final. The adapted softball season is underway this spring. The Robbinsdale Hopkins Mound West Tonka Robbins PI division team has a long history of success, and they were playing against Mounds View, Irondale, Roseville. Robbins pitcher Jordan Klein here makes a nice grab on the pop-up. Marcus Onsom's team leading 10-2, and they add to the lead. Haley Engebretsen's hit is off the pitcher's hands. Corey Tesh scores for an 11-2 Robins lead. Andy Hansen's chopper brings Vincent Liu home with another run for the Robins. And then Lydia Mazza bounces one to third to score Engebretsen as the Robins try to put this one away. They lead 14-2. The Rams do get a pair of runs on a nice hit down the left field line right there by Hadley Eby, but the Robins wrap up a 14-4 win.
They're hard to beat.
Yeah, pretty convincing there for the Robins.
there.
Congrats to them.
All right,
Thanks a lot, Eric. Robbinsdale area school students are showing off their artistic talents.
You can check out their work at the Robbin Gallery. Neil Persley has more in today's Weekend Showcase.
I don't think I've ever seen as many pieces at the Robbin Gallery as are on display now for the Robbinsdale Area Secondary Schools Art Show, where you'll see work from grades 6 through 12.
Everything from, you know, like super realistic, highly technical, to kind of fun or whimsical. We have work that shows really kind of like dark or deep subject matter and stuff that is just pure fun and lighthearted.
The mediums vary from charcoal or pencil and ink drawing to acrylics, photography, ceramics, and jewelry. Katie Bacon teaches art at Plymouth Middle School.
As art teachers, of course, we're trying to show them a lot of the technical skills, how to use the different materials, the media, the tools. And then we also have students that have very conceptual work as well. So they are able to basically showcase an idea in kind of a unique or original way. So it's kind of this balance between really strong with the technical aspect, but also that strong conceptual kind of originality.
5 schools are represented: Cooper and Armstrong High Schools, and Plymouth Middle School, Robbinsdale Middle School, and the Fair School in Crystal. There's so much great work by the students in the district that this marks the first time they've had to jury the work for inclusion in the display.
The teachers are guiding the students with these types of projects, but the students have so much control and direction in what they do and what they produce.
The quality of the work is indeed a reflection on the instructors, as well as the creativity and execution by the students. In Robbinsdale at the Robbin Gallery, Neil Persley, 12 News.
All right, thank you, Neil. We'll be right back.
And finally, remembering Prince in a really sweet way.
Shortly after the news of Prince's death went public on Thursday, Nadia Cakes announced selling Purple Rain cupcakes. $1 from each cupcake sold goes to the children's cancer research charity Love Your Melon. By noon on Friday, the Maple Grove location had already sold more than 300 Purple Rain cupcakes.
I saw these on Facebook and I'm like, I gotta get a 4-pack at least to bring one for the girls and my husband, so big fan.
We came in today for the Purple Rain cupcakes. I saw Nadia Cupcakes post about it on Facebook yesterday, and so we made a special trip over here today to come support.
The location also sold Little Red Corvette cupcakes, but those sold out very quickly. The Purple Rain cupcakes will be sold until Sunday. They're filled with raspberry beret filling. There you go. See you later.